All right, what's up, guys? Thanks for joining me for another Astronomy 101 presentation. Today, we're going to be covering spacecraft. Today's is going to be the Cassini-Huygens spacecraft and probe. So we'll learn about how they're a pair, what they kind of did for Saturn, and the kind of science that they brought to us. So we'll just launch right into it. So from atop a Titan 4 Centaur rocket, the Cassini was launched in 1997 towards Saturn. So it took 7 years to get there. And it may seem like a long time, but actually it was quite short of a time to get there because Saturn is almost 1 billion miles away from Earth, 965 million miles away. So 7 years is actually quite incredible. Once it was there, it would remain in orbit for an additional 13 years and complete 296 orbits of Saturn. So we'll see that's actually pretty fantastic, kind of a bigger payoff on a mission that was supposed to only last for, a couple years. So to get to Saturn in only 7 years, NASA used something called a gravity assist. So flying by Saturn a couple of times, once in 1998 and again in 1999, it would fly by Earth and say, "Hey guys," before blasting off into the outer solar system, an asteroid and Jupiter in 2000, and finally in July 2004 arrived at its destination, the ringed planet. Alongside Cassini was the Huygens probe, and that Huygens probe descended to Titan, Saturn's largest moon. And it descended there because it's kind of an interesting moon. It has a very thick atmosphere, and we'll learn about that a little bit later. But Cassini and Huygens, more importantly, Huygens was developed in a partnership with the ESA and the ASI, the European and Italian space agencies, and became the first human-made object to land on an outer solar system world in 2005, which is pretty incredible. And the science it would do there is also pretty fantastic as well. So the mission, the Cassini mission, came out of the 1980s. We saw what Saturn looked like, and we obtained some pretty interesting data from Saturn thanks to Voyager. And we decided we needed to send something else out there in the name of Cassini to find out what else was out there. So in conjunction with the JPL and accordance with planning from NASA, the Cassini mission took off. The Huygens probe, again, was manufactured by Thales Alenia Space, which is a European company. And it took off from Cape Canaveral like every other high-profile mission does. And that science was headed by NASA, ESA, and ASI for an original mission duration of only 4 years. Luckily, we got 13 years out of it, so quite a big payoff from that mission. So really fantastic science here. To end the mission, so in 2008, NASA had deemed we needed to find a way, an end game for Cassini without destroying any of the potentially habitable moons out there. We don't know yet if there was or is life on Titan or any of the other moons, but we didn't want to disrupt that. So they came up with a plan known as the grand finale, which would dip beneath the ring between the rings and the planets. And after 22 orbits in September 2017, the Cassini probe descended into the clouds and would vanish forever, providing its last bits of science to us. But before it descended, it was actually packing quite the setup. So both Cassini and Huygens were loaded with state-of-the-art technology, including a variety of spectrometers, spectrographs, wave detectors, magnometers, packages of all kinds of science, detectors, imagers, Doppler wind experiments, radio imaging. So really quite a plethora of science. We wanted to know as much as we could and as small of a compact space as we could possibly fit it. And what came out was Cassini and Huygens. So we'll kind of hear about what we discovered thanks to this fully loaded technological advanced piece of equipment. So thanks to Cassini, we actually discovered 7 additional moons orbiting the ringed planet. So imagine the shock of thinking you only knew of a few moons, about 75 of them, and then in comes this new spacecraft, and holy moly, there's 7 additional objects orbiting the planet. So we now know of 82 moons that are orbiting Saturn, and the moons are named, of course, with the last one kind of interestingly not having a name quite yet. So we'll see what that one's going to be called in the future. Another kind of cool moon that we encountered while we were out there is the moon Enceladus. We discovered that it has a thin atmosphere in 2005, and as it flew over again and again, it was confirmed that ice on the surface was thanks to warm water that was being pushed up through cracks and forming measurable geysers. We could literally see the geysers coming off of Enceladus. So as a collection of data kind of came in, we discovered more interesting things like hydrocarbons and carbon dioxide, which are life indicators. And it's kind of interesting. We don't know. We don't know. But some interesting things came out of Enceladus. So, global salt water with potentially more water than all of Earth. So it's pretty fascinating what we saw. And then again, what did Huygens see when Huygens descended into Titan? So as we mentioned previously, Titan has a dense atmosphere, and data collected from Huygens actually confirms that Titan is rather similar to Earth. There's lakes, there's liquid methane, there's features that are similar to what Earth looks like, and it's kind of startling. And we're very interested in learning more about Titan. So again, Saturn is a beautiful planet, and Cassini and Huygens both aided in discovery of quite innumerable wonderful things. And I'm absolutely certain in the next few years, as more of the data gets unraveled, we are going to discover even more wonderful things from Saturn, potentially even some life-bearing things. So some sources, some extra reading, if you would like to know more about Saturn, Cassini, or Huygens. And again, thank you for joining me today for this presentation.